Here, the level water before 1 year, 2 meters,
Wow. And now this is just totally dead?
like a desert.
The drying up of the Euphrates River, one of the world's greatest and oldest rivers, has taken the world by storm. It was there from the beginning, and its drying up speaks of strange mysteries of perhaps the end of the world. Prophecies are being fulfilled, and shocking things are emerging from the drying waters. Why is the river really drying up? What has been exposed from its ancient depths? Pay attention to everything we are about to show you in the video.
Drought has reduced these famous marshes in some areas to puddles, and that's damaging the lives of the people.
When staring at the Euphrates River, know that you are by no means staring at a modern-day river. Instead, you are staring at a river that has interesting stories to tell, and a river that has supported numerous ancient civilizations, even from the cradle. The river has seen mighty empires rise and fall, and this includes empires that you only read about in storybooks and ancient historical texts. But here is the sad part of this story. It would only be a matter of time before this great river becomes forgotten. Why do we say this? Well, that's because the river is drying up at a speed that astounds even scientists. For those who know the Euphrates River, it is quite difficult to believe that the river, which had flowed on the earth for thousands of years, is now meeting its end. The river was indeed nothing short of a mighty water force, running through and serving numerous nations, which included both old and new ones. Indeed, the river remains a major player in the development of human societies, with its ancient waters telling numerous stories which it has silently witnessed. Some of the civilizations which once blossomed with great support from this river include that of the Sumerians, one of the world's earliest known civilizations, settled in the southern region of Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This nation developed advanced systems of irrigation and agriculture, which were essential for their prosperity, and had forever planted their name in history. The Akkadians, who followed the Sumerians, also built an empire that encompassed Mesopotamia, where they continued to benefit from the fertile lands along the Euphrates. There was also the city of Babylon, situated along the Euphrates. Fed by the Euphrates River, Babylon was a major center of the ancient world under the rule of Hammurabi. The Euphrates River played a vital role in providing water for agriculture and supporting trade and commerce. It is from here that one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, which is the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, comes from. The river also saw the rise of the Assyrian Empire, centered in the region between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The Assyrians used the Euphrates for transportation, trade, and agriculture, contributing to their imperial success. The Chaldeans, a Semitic people who lived in the region around Babylon, were also reliant on the Euphrates for agriculture and trade. Again, the Persian Empire, particularly during the reign of Cyrus the Great and his successors, utilized the Euphrates for water supply and transportation, contributing to the empire's prosperity. These ancient civilizations relied on the Euphrates River for their fertile lands, irrigation, transportation, and as a source of sustenance, which allowed them to flourish and make significant contributions to human history. Today, countries like Turkey, Syria, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia have inherited the Great River, but at a terrible time, the river is drying up, even as supply from its sources continues to decline as well. Now, the waters of the Euphrates River come from the mountains of the eastern Turkey highlands and are highly sustained when snow melts. This melting snow causes the Euphrates River to swell and leads to annual flooding, which the nations rely on. Being here for thousands of years, people have come to depend on the Euphrates River, which is now a strong part of the regions it flows through. The river has seen the rise and fall of many civilizations whose remnants can still be found today in their ruins and artifacts. Among them are many empires in Iraq, which was the major nation in the Euphrates basin from time immemorial. This nation had indeed made use of the waters of the Euphrates to create an impressive irrigation system to power its empires in the past, and has not stopped doing so now. But then, things have changed in recent times, and Iraq is at the least vantage point. Recently, Turkey has constructed several dams and reservoirs along the upper reaches of the Euphrates, primarily for irrigation, hydropower generation, and water storage. Notable projects include the Ataturk Dam, which created Lake Ataturk and has a substantial water storage capacity. These dams significantly reduce the downstream flow of the Euphrates, impacting Syria and Iraq. But Turkey is not alone in this, as Syria has also built dams, such as the Tabqa Dam on the Euphrates, which provides hydroelectric power and water storage for irrigation. The operation of these dams can further reduce the flow of the river downstream, especially during dry seasons. The collective impact of these dam projects, coupled with extended periods of drought, has contributed to the drying up of the Euphrates River in some regions, and it promises to extend to all. Here, however, Iraq suffers the most as a downside country. Indeed, the effect of the Euphrates River drying up is far-reaching, but you won't understand how big this is until you explore the Euphrates River's course, which is a really long one. Now, the Euphrates River is approximately 1,740 miles, 2,800 kilometers long, and flows through several countries in the Middle East. It originates in eastern Turkey, near the city of Erzurum. Its two main source rivers, the Murat and Karasu, join to form the Euphrates. From its source, the river flows south through eastern Turkey, passing through various towns and cities such as Elazig and Sanliurfa. It then crosses the border into Syria, where it continues its southward flow. In Syria, it's a significant water source and flows through cities like Raqqa. From Syria, the river then enters Iraq, where it meanders through major cities like Baghdad and Basra. It's a vital waterway in this region, supporting agriculture and transportation. Near the southern Iraqi city of Kurna, the Euphrates meets the Tigris River to form the Shat al-Arab, which eventually empties into the Persian Gulf, creating a vast delta region that's important for agriculture and ecosystems. Now, it is sad that a river this important is drying up, but wait until you find out what comes next. What does prophecies say about the Euphrates River drying up? Many major religions in the world today are quite familiar with the river named Euphrates, and the reasons for this are quite serious. For Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, the Euphrates River is, in fact, one of the first 4 rivers created by God, which flowed from the Garden of Eden. In the Bible, you would find this in the book of Genesis 2. But it gets even more serious as numerous Christian and Jewish prophecies have been made about the river. In the Bible, numerous prophets have prophesied about the Euphrates River, and interestingly, most of them talk about the river drying up as it is happening today. This is no small event, as the Euphrates River is considered a mighty water highway and is referred to as the Great River by the prophets. Amongst those who have prophesied about the river drying up, we find prophet Isaiah, who declared in Isaiah 11:15 that God himself would strike the Euphrates River, allowing the remnants of his people to return to the land. Isaiah also prophesied in Isaiah 44:27 that God will be the one to dry up the rivers. If you follow events closely, you will notice that there's been a strange heat spell traversing Europe and drying up major rivers of which the Euphrates falls. But the peculiarity of the Euphrates River drying up doesn't stop here, as there seems to be a bigger purpose for the river's demise. Another prophet in the Bible known to prophesy about the dry future of the Euphrates River is a prophet, Jeremiah. He prophesied in the book of Jeremiah 46:27 that the Euphrates River would be dried and parched because of the people's idolatry. However, nothing beats the fact that the Bible finally ties up the drying up of the Euphrates River to the end of the world. In the book of Revelation 16:12, it is written that the 6th angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. Many have tied this prophecy to mean that the Euphrates River will be sadly supernaturally dried up to allow forces from the east to cross in order to fight a symbolic battle known as the Battle of Armageddon. Here, the Battle of Armageddon is seen as part of the series of events leading up to the second coming of Jesus Christ and the final judgment. It is often associated with a period of great tribulation and turmoil. Many interpretations see the battle as highly symbolic, representing the ultimate confrontation between the forces of good, representing God and his followers, and evil, often represented by Satan and his followers. It symbolizes the final defeat of evil and the establishment of God's ultimate reign. That is not all, as another terrifying reason seems to be the responsibility for the Euphrates drying up, and this time, it has to do with angels. In the book of Revelation 9:14, it is written, saying to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." This is another prophecy tied to the Euphrates River as it dries. This scripture suggests that the Euphrates River might have been a prison yard where fallen angels had been locked up for thousands of years, and as part of the end-time events, these fallen angels, now considered to be demons, would be released. Recently, as the Euphrates River continues to dry up, a series of complaints have been launched by locals, hearing eerie sounds emerging from the river's depths. This has caused a great deal of concern from the world population, as these angels, according to prophecy, would wreak havoc on the world. If the sounds heard are indeed that of falling angels warming up for their release, then we might just have a big problem on our table. Other than Christians and Judaism, even Islam has prophecies about the great Euphrates River drying up. This is written in numerous hadiths, as Prophet Muhammad himself has made scary statements about the Euphrates River drying up. According to him, the Euphrates River will definitely dry up at the end of times, and the results will be the revealing of a great mountain made of gold and great treasures. Thus, it is regarded as the mountain of gold. However, this prophecy is not really a good one, as the aftermath of the revelation of the Golden Mountain promises chaos. According to the Holy Prophet, the discovery of the mountain would stir up greed in the hearts of men, and nations would strive to covet its treasures. This would lead to worldwide chaos and violence, with only a few righteous people surviving the event. Indeed, all of these are quite scary prophecies, and this is probably why numerous efforts are being made to save the river. Indeed, the drying up of the Euphrates has affected the river's ecosystem and its natural flow, and has left a lot of people who depend on the river in devastation, leading to researchers and scientists haunting new ways to do things. These researchers continue to find many ways to improve the Euphrates water management practices and develop more helpful water irrigation systems. If these researchers fail in their efforts, there is no telling what will become of the land without the Euphrates River. A perfect example of the chaos that will ensue can be seen in the story of the marshes, a lush land indented with numerous smaller water channels, which greatly nourished the land as well as the marsh Arab people who populated the region. The land of the marshes is planted along the Euphrates River and is often referred to as the Mesopotamian marshes, which is a unique and historically significant region located in southern Iraq. It is characterized by a vast wetland ecosystem formed by the confluence of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This area was known as the cradle of civilization, as it was home to some of the world's earliest cultures, including the Sumerians and Babylonians. Here, the land is distinguished by its intricate network of water channels, reed beds, and mudflats, creating a mosaic of habitats for a diverse range of plant and animal species. The marsh Arabs, or Madan, have inhabited these wetlands for centuries, relying on a traditional lifestyle centered around reed houses, fishing, and water buffalo herding. However, this unique environment faced significant threats due to drainage projects and political conflict in the 20th century. The draining of the Mesopotamian marshes in Iraq was a deliberate and extensive project conducted by the Iraqi government, as the marshes were seen as a place of opposition to the Iraqi government, and Saddam Hussein's regime sought to suppress dissent by draining the marshes and displacing the marsh Arabs. The drainage of the marshes had severe environmental and cultural consequences, leading to the loss of a unique ecosystem and the displacement of indigenous communities. Thus, the once vibrant marshes land soon became desolate, leading to the disappearance of the marshes almost into nothingness until power changed hands when Iraq invaded the land in 2003. Iraq recognized the benefits of the land, so the drainage policy was soon revoked. Since then, efforts have been made to restore and conserve the marshes with initiatives to reflood drained areas and protect the ecosystem's biodiversity. But the damage done was extensive. Here, another difficulty faced is the fact that the Euphrates River as a whole was no longer the same. The river has dropped pretty low, making it only possible for very shallow boats to navigate the river. However, these shallow boats can only go as far as Hit, which is about 53 meters above sea level, a barrier the boats cannot go past. Following this to reach the marshes, there remains about 1,200 miles or 1,930 kilometers of distance to cover. This distance would mean an upstream trek, which is, of course, stringent, but this hasn't deterred the Iraqi government from making efforts to save the marshes. Ultimately, the region continues to be of historical, cultural, and environmental importance, and its restoration efforts are vital for its survival and the preservation of its rich heritage. But now that the river is drying up, what has been discovered? Now, one good aspect of the drying up of the Euphrates River is the many archaeologically relevant discoveries that have been made as the Euphrates River continues to recede. On this matter, the director of the Anbar Antiquities Department, Ratib Ali Al-Kubaisi, does not fail to speak his mind. According to Al-Kubaisi, the drought has opened up a whole new land of opportunity for archaeologists, who have now been able to access sites that were previously flooded. He said that they had discovered new sites from the Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, and Roman periods, and that they had also found new artifacts, including pottery, jewelry, and coins. Al-Kubaisi said that the discoveries are exciting and that they are helping us to learn more about the history of this important region. He also said that the discoveries are a reminder of the importance of preserving our cultural heritage. According to him, everyone thought that Anbar was only a desert with no historical importance. But we discovered that this area is one of the most important archaeological areas in all of Iraq. This part of Iraq was the first to be settled. But there's more. In 2022, a large archaeological burial site was discovered in the drying Euphrates River in eastern Syria. The site was revealed as the water levels in the Euphrates Dam Lake receded. The burial site is believed to be from the Bronze Age, dating back around 3,400 years. It contains dozens of graves, and archaeologists have already uncovered a variety of artifacts, including pottery, jewelry, and weapons. The discovery of the burial site is significant because it provides new insights into the funerary practices and culture of the people who lived in the region during the Bronze Age. It is also the first time that a burial site from this period has been discovered in the Euphrates River Valley. Archaeologists are still excavating the site, and they hope to learn more about the people who were buried there and their way of life. The discoveries from the site could help to shed new light on the history of the Bronze Age in Syria and the surrounding region. As good as this sounds, more interesting discoveries were about to be unraveled. Recently, a colossal head sculpture emerged from the receding waters of the Euphrates River in Raqqa province, Syria. The sculpture is believed to be from the Akkadian period, which dates back to around 2300 BC. It is made of limestone and is over 2 meters tall. The sculpture depicts a man with a beard and a headdress. The man's expression is serious and determined. The sculpture is well preserved and its intricate details are still visible. The discovery of the head sculpture is significant because it is one of the largest and best preserved Akkadian sculptures ever found. It also provides new insights into the art and culture of the Akkadian period. Archaeologists are still studying the sculpture, and they hope to learn more about its identity and purpose. The sculpture is believed to have been part of a larger statue or monument, but the rest of the statue has not yet been found. In the end, people are left in awe, as some believe that the sculpture can bestow blessings. The discovery of the head sculpture is also a reminder of the rich cultural heritage of Syria. The country has been home to many different civilizations over the centuries, and many archaeological sites have yet to be discovered. What do you think about the drying up of the Euphrates River? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.